Hey guys, it's Bros here, and today I'm going to be talking about what I believe to be the biggest issues that are currently in rocket racing. I'm someone who has been playing this game since it released in December of last year and have hit Unreal in every season. I've gotten world records on various tracks every season that we've played so far, and I really enjoy this game and have gotten pretty good at it. It's definitely evolved a lot technologically. It's gotten a lot faster since it's come out, and despite that, I've said that I've been able to keep up with it and have been around to see everything transpire over the past year. So I have seen quite a bit of both the good and the bad in this game. Today I'm going to be mostly talking about the bad and what I think can be improved going forward. So, without further ado, let's jump in and talk about it. I have identified three main problems that plague rocket racing in its current state. Those three being the game's overall negative perception from the public, the lack of casual options the game has for newcomers, and the issues regarding bugs and upkeep with the game that bother the veterans of it. We'll begin by talking about the game's overall negative perception to the public, which began before the game even came out. You see, in order for rocket racing to exist in Fortnite, Epic and Psyonix had to disable trading in Rocket League. This is because items that were in Rocket Racing could also be in Rocket League and vice versa. And because Rocket Racing is in Fortnite and Fortnite has no trading, this meant that Rocket League also could have no trading. So when you take away something that's been so integral to Rocket League, it leaves a bad taste in those players' mouth. Why would they want to support a game that took something so dearly away from them? Not only that, but Rocket League in general is a very difficult game to master mechanically and mentally as well. Why would those players who have sunk in so many hours into that game be willing to come over to a different game that has a completely different objective? Instead of trying to score goals, you're trying to win a race, and also has quite a bit different mechanics as well. Like the Rocket Racing car and the Rocket League car do not handle the same at all. Why would they be interested in learning how to play a completely different game in a completely different car when it also took something so dearly away from them? It doesn't make sense for a Rocket League player to start playing Rocket Racing. On the other side of the coin, you don't really have Fortnite players really jumping on to Rocket Racing either, because Fortnite players are jumping on Fortnite to play Fortnite. They're not here to go racing. You see, there's not really much of an overlay as to people who are playing Fortnite and playing racing games. Not saying it's not there at all. I mean, hey, that's where initially I came into the game, was that I enjoyed the OG chapter, and then there's like, oh yeah, racing game, sure, I'll try it, why not, right? But even then, I think in the long run, having Rocket Racing be like in Fortnite in the same application has only hurt it and not help it. Not only from like the gaming side of it, but also when people think of Rocket Racing, they don't really think of it as Rocket Racing. They think of it as Fortnite racing, right? It's a bit of like an identity problem with the game, in that the game doesn't really have its own identity. It's known more as, oh, that racing game inside of Fortnite, when it's a lot more deeper than that. Despite all the negative press that Rocket Racing was getting even before it came out, it didn't stop people from at least trying the game out. Reaching a peak player count of over 620,000 the day it came out, people knew that this number wouldn't be sustainable, but I don't think people were expecting this number to just completely fall off a cliff. And that leads into my second point. It's the fact that Rocket Racing doesn't really have much going on for it in much of a casual sense. I mean, your two options really when you play this game are to play ranked or to play speedrun. Both of them can be quite competitive. And when you are a casual player that's just looking for a racing game for fun, Rocket Racing doesn't really offer that. There's not really an item mode like Rocket League has Rumble, or it doesn't really have modifiers like Rocket League where you could change your gravity or do anything like that. None of that really exists inside of Rocket Racing. And it's quite a shame to see because I feel like that's a whole box that could be opened to make this game a lot more fun. Now, fortunately, the one thing that Rocket Racing does have going for it is its ability to have UEFN maps. And UEFN opens the door for quite a lot of creativity. However, it's difficult to find some good UEFN maps when you're just browsing on the Fortnite app. A lot of these races here are just photos from GTA 5? Like, why is there GTA 5 stuff inside of Rocket Racing? It doesn't make sense. All these mega ramp tracks here that are just straight lines, and I mean, it's not that engaging and doesn't really give the game much personality when you look at it like this. It's quite a shame, really, because UEFN has quite a lot of potential to make the game very engaging and fun on a casual sense, but not when you don't really have the algorithm pushing out the maps to accompany it. This leads into the last thing that I do want to talk about today. Because even if not everyone is here to play casually, there is quite a reason to play this game competitively. And the fact that this game has quite a large skill gap and really high skill ceiling makes it very intriguing for those up to the challenge for mastering the game and its controls. However, on the other hand, there's also a lot to be desired for, which leads into my third point, and it's there is quite a few game-breaking bugs that are still in the game that make it difficult for it to be taken seriously competitively. I'll give here the three main examples as to what I'm talking about. The first one being Turbo Bug. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Turbo Bug, the way that it works is that when you drift in this game, you gain turbo. Turbos are very useful because you gain a lot of speed quickly and can keep the speed for a very long time as well, if you are skilled enough with B-hobs and whatnot. Turbos are very integral for routing in Rocket Racing and going very fast in the game. So when you have a bug where when you drift you can't build turbo like the intended game mechanic, it is kind of scary to think about. I mean, the core mechanic of the game is to drift to gain turbo, and you're telling me that doesn't even work? Really? And it's not like this is a new bug either. This has been something in the game since all the way back in Season 0. Some form of this bug has always been in the game. Now, I did make a video covering the main cause of it, which happens after you finish one drift too quickly and start another one right after. And if you start a second drift right after ending one too fast, the game will think that you're in a previous drift and won't build your turbo quickly. However, since that video, I've also seen other examples of turbo bug that aren't even related to this at all, and sure enough, turbo bug right there, where you're just not gaining turbo for whatever reason. It doesn't make any sense at all. Why is it that this core mechanic doesn't even work in the game? It's very scary to think about. Now, the second main issue when it comes to Rocket Racing is a bug that has been in the game since April, known as barrier break in speedruns. Now, the idea of barrier break is that at the start of a race, you will force a respawn on yourself to be in the air. Now, when you respawn in the air in this game, the game loses track of where you are in its local checkpoint system, and after you move forward a little bit, will unload the barriers. Now, this isn't the problem if you have checkpoints in proper placement. However, when you have tracks that have checkpoints not in great spots, all of them are like older maps in the game where this wasn't really thought of at the time because they were governed by the barriers. Yet, despite this, no new checkpoints have been added. Some tracks have had checkpoints be added in the past, such as Sidewinder and Anarchy Arches when shortcuts were found there. Yet, despite having issues on these tracks for over 7 months now, nothing has been done to add checkpoints to them. And it's just, I'd have to say lazy. Because this is such an easy fix to do, and it just hasn't been done at all. It's been known about by developers for quite a while. Why can't you guys just add a few checkpoints, and then even if someone is doing some sort of barrier break, it doesn't matter because the checkpoints they have to collect are in spots that are difficult to even achieve all of them. With all that being said, the last bug that I will be going over is spectating. This actually used to be a feature all the way in Season 0 where you could spectate a race from the lobby, but somewhere along the way, this feature got removed. If you wanted to spectate your friend playing in a competitive 3-lap match, you can't do it anymore, which is weird. You used to be able to do this, and now you can't? Why would they remove such a feature? Maybe they said there was an issue with it or something, yet this was months ago, and they still haven't fixed it or put it back in. It's just very sad to see where some sort of bugs like this that could be fixed easily just have been getting ignored. And as a result of this, some very competitive players in the early days of the game have left from it. Now, there's also been some other game breaking bugs in the history of this game that have since been patched, thank goodness. But at the same time, it just always seems like one bug after another, and players rightfully got tired of it, and they moved on to other games. That is a bit scary to think about, that even the core people that believed in this game the most stepped away from it. But it's not all doom and gloom for Rocket Racing. You see, something that will be coming in the next update with Fortnite Chapter 6 is the fact that each of these game modes, including Battle Royale, Rocket Racing, Festival, and Lego, are going to be in their own module, making them more independent from just Fortnite. Having them be more legitimized as their own games instead of just under one big Fortnite application. Players will have the choice to either download game modes they want or don't want. So by doing that, it offers Rocket Racing and its development team a lot more independence from just the Fortnite application. Uh, Something that Rocket Racing had to deal with over the past year is that if they wanted to put an update out, they couldn't just do that. They had to wait until Fortnite were to put an update out, and then the Rocket Racing update would be included in the Fortnite update as well. So, because Fortnite only was getting a certain amount of updates throughout the year, Rocket Racing couldn't really fix the bugs that the game had because of this. However, moving forward, because the game will be in its own module, now it opens the door for Rocket Racing to be a bit more independent and fix bugs when they can fix them and they don't have to wait for Epic Games and Fortnite to do so. This gives the game a lot more of its own identity, and it gives it a path for its future as well. As for where Rocket Racing decides to go in the future, that's something only the development team can really know and understand. But regardless, I'm gonna be here for it. I've been enjoying this game despite its issues. The movement in this game is very fun and unique compared to other racing games, and I am just here to see where they go with it next. So with all of that being said, my name is Bros. I hope you learned something from this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.